Okay, welcome back to the Unemployable podcast. Unemployable is about so many things, but we're talking a lot about our business as real estate agents lately. Today I want to share some advice that's been coming up again and again with agents as we bring new agents into our community. Something that's come up is just this idea of shiny object syndrome. So Aaron and I are going to talk about that today. Not just like it's a big problem, because we talk that phrase shiny object gets used like it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of exploring whenever you first get into real estate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Trying to figure out what route you want to go.
Yeah, and you hear these like story after story of what works for other people, and you realize, oh, everything works.
Yeah.
Everything works.
It does.
If you do it consistently.
Yep. Yeah.
So even like direct mail, something kind of expensive, kind of old school like that really works.
Yeah.
The things that are really inexpensive but take a lot more labor, door knocking, cold calling, they work.
They do, yeah.
And those route. We do some of these things to, grow the brand in a bigger sense. But our main thing is YouTube, obviously.
Yeah.
So whenever you got into real estate, how did you kind of narrow in your focus?
For the first year, I don't think I did at all.
Yeah.
It was just focusing on learning how to close the deal and then how to have conversations with buyers, sellers, all of that. But it was online leads, and there's definitely a way to focus and build out on those. But yeah, the whole idea of multiple streams of lead flow just didn't really click with me until probably like towards the second year.
Mm-hmm.
Started hearing about like stuff other people were doing and going, oh, I didn't even know you could really get leads through that route. And then once you close your first lead from a source other than maybe like the source your brokerage is giving you, feels really good.
What do you think feels good about that? Is it just you're making more money on it? What is it?
I think it's you realize that, oh, I could really do this. Like even without help, like I could host open houses every weekend, get leads, and just go that route.
Yeah.
Like I'm not so dependent on maybe the team you're on or the brokerage you're in. And that says something about like team leaders. Like that really should be the ultimate goal of a team leader or a broker, is how do you kind of sustain them when they're new and then kind of help them build out what their next step is to get their own leads, and then make it easy and profitable for them to do that too. Like don't beat them down because they're putting in all this extra work. That's why I love EXP, is because like if you give someone a lead, you can like take a referral fee for that.
Yeah.
But when it's their lead and they're doing all the work and they're closing it, it's like, no, you should have 100% of that, or as much as possible, because that's like only fair, because that's a lot of work.
So whenever I first started in real estate, I tried kind of everything. Starting with very, very old school, simple hosting open houses, reaching out to listing agents, asking if I can hold their listing open, right? I also did Facebook ads. I bought some course and like built these Facebook ads out, kind of like a lead magnet.
Yeah.
But then you have to cold call those people. Mm-hmm. And it still is like a cold call. I did some direct mail. Then I bought Zillow leads.
Mm-hmm.
And the Zillow leads I bought was like not Zillow Flex, where they get a cut of it. And I had to pay up front for these leads, and you get like many cold handoffs and this many guaranteed warm handoffs every month. I also did a little bit of leads with OpCity, which is Realtor.com's version of that, and they would take a cut of it. Well, but with OpCity, they start out really bad,
and they get better.
Based on how you close them.
Yeah. And
then I did some ads through KV Core, which got pushed to Facebook, which is pretty much running ads for my like search site.
Mm-hmm.
I ran through all that before I even heard about YouTube as a potential.
Yeah.
And I heard about YouTube on a podcast.
Yeah.
So that's why one of the reasons I'm so into podcasts too is because it took one person telling me it was possible for it to like spark in my brain.
Yeah.
And realize, oh, I could do that.
That's wild.
Like hearing it works for these guys. I didn't realize it works for other people. I didn't even look into it that far. It works for these guys. It's going to work for me.
Yeah.
And it stuck in my brain so hard that I It's all I talked about. It's all I thought about. It's all I read about. It's all I wanted to learn about. While I had these Zillow leads coming in.
Yeah.
I was like closing deals from Zillow. So excited to never close deals from Zillow.
So you like knew it was going to like work out. Like that's kind of the mindset I'm hearing. Like you're closing these Zillow leads knowing that you won't have to close them in maybe 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Like
so
knowing that you're going to close a YouTube lead.
that last closing I did with Zillow, I'm still in touch with those clients and have helped them buy other houses. And I was building it as I was working with them. And I was telling them about it. They didn't really get it. And it's fine.
Yeah.
No big deal. But now when I see them, it's like, oh, like you're a celebrity on YouTube. They like tease me about it, but they knew me. They worked with me prior to that. But there was a unique like stick in me. Like the idea was really sticky to me. The belief was really sticky to me.
Yeah.
Now I look back at like journals from that time. I was scared. I was questioning it.
Yeah.
But there was still something that kept me going. And I think some of it was just my commitment to try it, to like get as far as these guys got. They were 6 months in, 3 to 6 months in when I heard them talk about it. And they've already got they got calls every day. I just got to get to there because that's where the calls every day are. So I was committed to getting there.
Yeah.
By the time I got there, I had closed my first deal from YouTube.
Yeah.
So, and then once you start actually talking to people,
Yeah.
it was more once people started viewing the video that I felt like, whoa,
It's working.
how did they find the video?
When I watch your first videos,
Yeah.
it almost looks like you know that it's making sense. Like you know that it's going to work. Was that like a confidence you had just kind of knowing cameras, knowing kind of how to do it, plus maybe knowing what people want to see, plus maybe knowing the type of language people are going to gravitate towards, just kind of knowing all that off the front end, or was it a little more messy?
It was way more messy. Even like, yeah, the cameras like wasn't something I was like stumbling over. It wasn't like I would hit a challenge. I would maybe stumble over it a bit, but I wouldn't give up because I knew I could figure it out, whether it was like with a camera or with like the editing software. So that wasn't like stopping me, but like just talking to the camera was so challenging. You know, those first few videos, you just shoot a few times, and I wasn't reading a script or anything. I thought I knew what people wanted me to say. I thought I knew the information they were searching for, but I was really just doing what these other guys did.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at their thing like, okay, they ran this play. I'm going to run this play. Up to the point where they did, to where they said they were getting leads, because that's what I want.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was more committed to doing it that way.
Doing that, yeah.
Than believing that I had all the skills. I thought I could find all the skills.
Well, the reality probably is any of these other lead sources could have worked if maybe you had heard somebody on a podcast show you how they do it and how they make it effective for it to really work. But I think what a lot of people do with it, like, and go back to shiny object syndrome, is they just kind of wing it and they wing all these things. And yeah, they're throwing ads out, but they don't know how to format them or how to put them out there.
I think so much of it is that they look at all these things and they try all of them at once. And that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
A little bit of each of these. But I was so committed to like doing it in a way that was honest to myself.
Yeah.
Where I was representing myself to clients in the way that I wanted to be represented. Where I wasn't like playing this role of a realtor and wearing this costume that a realtor wears, even if that's like the way I speak. Like I didn't get into this to do that. I got into this to invest in real estate, and now I find myself in this unique time where that's not the path I'm on. But I was so committed to doing it my way. So I want to talk about focus, commitment, and execution today. And focus is really just narrowing it down to one or two of these things. Now we can make the list way bigger, right? These are just the things I tried. But one or two things that you try all the way for a year.
Yeah.
So the agents in our community, that's what I'll push them on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to meet next week. Hey, we got to identify the 2 things that you're going to commit to yourself to do for the next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an open house every weekend, but it could be. Could be one every other weekend. It could be 3 a month. It could be how you're engaging at the open house. And then let's keep going deep on that one thing.
Yeah.
Let's make you really good at that one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to go all in. You want to go all in on real estate in the front end. That's the only way you succeed. You jump in, quit your job, just do it. Then pick a source that you want, like we're saying, and just go all in on that. But don't be dumb about it. Like, be strategic about it, study it. Don't spend a lot of time researching on it, but once you research, move on, start doing the tasks, do it consistently, because that's really all you need to be a great agent.
Yeah.
Like, if you had someone out there that was 110% dedicated to door knocking, every house in the whole neighborhood, all of Tampa Bay, I mean, he would crush it.
Yeah.
But if he actually did it, if he actually went to each and every single door, just focused on only that, you'd kill it. The problem is that's risky to just be all in on one source like that, because if it doesn't work out, you have nothing else to go off of. And it's just same thing with jumping into real estate. But if you really want to make it, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And know that by actually really doing it, you'll succeed.
I think a part of that too is like being committed enough to it to know that you can find your way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this isn't the thing, but you'll find it as you do it. You'll find it through action, not just through thinking.
Big time.
And that's really what I want to push people on. It's like we just have to act.
You do, yeah.
And some of that is just like acting like you're committed to making videos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some of that is just going along with it.
Yeah.
With yourself and saying, I'm going to keep doing this no matter what.
I say as a new agent, there's like value in researching every lead source, but spending max 3-4 hours researching it.
Yeah.
People will just be in these phases where they're just researching YouTube for months and months and months, and they don't actually ever make a video, and nothing happens.
Or they're researching CRMs, or they're researching brokerages, or they're
whatever it is. Doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
Figure it out. If it doesn't work, move on to the next thing. Figure that out. Like, spend maybe a week researching what your source is going to be.
Yeah.
And then just do it.
So I like to think back to YouTube, like what was the gut feeling I had that like actually helped me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of it was, bouncing the idea off others and being them, giving me positive feedback. Yeah, you should do that. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
That sounds like it would work. Sounds like you'd be good at it. Some of that. You need to find those kind of feedback sources that can actually encourage you and help you.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to the guys on the podcast, Will and Eli, good friends now.
Yeah.
Super encouraging, but very surface.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, bro. You should do it. Let us know if we can help.
Yeah.
Not like, your next 10 steps are this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't talk to them again until I had leads.
Yeah.
It's like I went, like an athlete would say, like they went in the lab.
Yeah.
And I just worked.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought maybe you connected with them first and then they helped you.
I connected with them like a couple of text messages. Then I came back to Eli and said, hey, I'm getting a little buried in these leads. What kind of systems are you guys using for this, this, and this?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, maybe you should join our downline EXP.
Well, because imagine someone reaching out like that
I know.
to you. Like,
so
hey,
amazing.
I saw a video. I was encouraged by it.
Yeah.
I started doing it. I closed a deal. Now I feel like I'm ready to, I'm committed.
It's dreamy, right?
Yeah, it is. It shows like tenacity. I like it.
But then the execution, the continued execution is the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can narrow in, and I think I'm excited to work with our agents to kind of just dig into what is your gut of what works.
Mm-hmm.
Then have you like made a clear path on that for the next year, and then have you executed that for a year? If you haven't, then what are we doing?
Yeah. It's also how you execute it. Because you get agents, open house every week. Yeah, I'm doing the open house, I'm doing the showings, I'm doing the calls, but you're not you're not making yourself uncomfortable or putting any pressure on yourself in those key moments.
Yes.
And so it doesn't even matter. Like you might as well
Right.
do no open houses.
Well, it's like staying in the same grade in school. It's like getting stuck in 5th grade.
Yeah.
You just never move on.
But you're like,
You
I'm doing
have
school.
to become a student
Yeah.
that is learning new things, that is advancing, that is getting feedback from your, ideal clients, getting feedback from other realtors. Like, no, is it working or is it not?
Yeah.
You
do.
does it feel good? Because it's not going to feel good a lot of the time.
Yeah, no.
This is not, running your own business is not a majority happy situation. It's a majority stressed situation. You have to learn how to handle a lot of that. You have to learn how to kind of ignore a lot of feelings and then use your feelings as like little signals, maybe of something working or not.
Yeah.
Or something, maybe something's pulling you down a little more than you're willing to, and you need to offload it. Or you need to build some kind of system for it. Feelings aren't to be just silenced.
No.
But they're not to be the leaders.
No, yeah.
Because the commitment is the leader.
It is.
That's the hardest part of it.
For sure. Yeah, committing and actually committing, it's hard. It's not easy.
It's really hard. So right now, that commitment for me is agents. Creating content for agents, like this podcast, content on Instagram, live webinars, trainings, systems like that help agents become better agents.
Yeah.
This is where it all starts, though. Some kind of commitment to the next thing.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants the next thing, though. Like, this really isn't for everyone.
No, it's not. No.
And real estate can be more like a job. You can just be kind of self-employed.
You can.
But then you're kind of stuck in 5th grade.
Yeah.
You don't want to like turn it into a business that actually serves you, that actually has some value built into it. You're just kind of stuck in 5th grade, and that's fine.
It's the majority of realtors.
It is.
13,000, I think, in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And there's maybe 500 people that I'd call like real realtors that are showing levels of this, like committed, trying, pushing, reflecting. But the rest of them, they're just kind of going through it.
Yeah. And then once you get into that kind of top level, I mean, so in the Tampa area, we're in the top 1-2%.
Yeah.
In our brokerage, we're also in the top 2%, which has 90,000 agents. But the Tampa area, once you get into that top group, you realize they're a lot better.
They are, yeah.
Like, to get into the top 20%, not that challenging. To get into the top 1%, a lot more challenging. That final little bit, those people are really working differently, building differently. I'm excited. The more I interact with people like that. I had a call with a guy yesterday who has 300 agents in his downline. Local guy. He was so kind and giving. So we interviewed an agent yesterday that's going to join our community. She was also interviewing with this other guy after.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, you can't join my community. You got to join Sam's."
Oh, really? That's wild.
He's like, "Sam's, why you went to that event? Sam's the reason you even heard about me."
Yeah.
He's like, "You don't have to be part of my community to join this coaching thing I do. Like, I'll send you the link. I'll send it to Sam too." He's like, "I'm going to call Sam and tell him, great job."
Yeah.
So interesting.
I think it's because he's committed.
Yeah.
He is not insecure because he
Not at
trusts
all.
his process.
Yeah.
So losing an agent, losing a lead for a reason that's out of your control, like that,
Yeah.
is not something to break your own boundaries on. Like
Right.
he could have been like, "Oh yeah, Sam's the worst. Like done this whole thing. Like you don't know. Like a gimmick. Blah blah blah." But no, because he knows that he's got a system that's going to get him more agents.
Well, and he also knows he doesn't have the time and capacity to help her where she's at, and I do.
Yeah, that's true.
He also wants the brokerage, EXP, to look really good, and he did that.
He did, yeah.
He made her love the brokerage.
Yeah,
He helped me. He offered to help me anytime. He said, if I can join a Zoom call, a phone call, a lunch meeting, I'll join you anytime and help you bring someone over.
That's so many agents at EXP.
It's incredible.
It's weird.
I know. It's so incredible.
Like, you hear horror stories or other brokerages, how they like stealing leads from each other,
Yes.
drama,
Uh-huh.
all kinds of stuff. But at EXP, it's for what, and it's big, which is weird. But yeah, it's great company culture for sure.
And he like gave us all of his listing stuff, all of his scripts, all this kind of stuff. Like,
Wow.
yeah, here you go.
No, yeah. I think it's because agents at EXP realize how much business is out there.
Yeah.
They realize that every day, 1,000, 2,000 listings hit the Tampa Bay area. Like, it's not that big of a deal if you have somebody else that's competing with you.
No, not at all.
It's interesting.
And it's, especially in the way that we're going about it, very personal brand heavy.
Yeah.
I was texting with that agent this morning, just saying like, I'm so excited to help you build a business that really represents you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that's going to be a big deal. You know, all these changes with NAR, even just changes with AI, like it's all going back to people.
Yeah.
How do you be the person that people trust? How do you be the person that people know, like, and trust?
Yeah. No.
And not just the bot that can do it really fast,
Mm-hmm.
or just the, transaction manager.
Yeah. No.
No, the person that people really trust.
And always be valuable.
Yeah.
Real estate's one of the last sales jobs that's ever going to go away.
Yeah, I bought a new truck recently, and I really enjoyed the salesperson. But then you're done.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah. I texted her a couple times about a couple things, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you forgot to refund that thing, and okay, no problem, I got it. And
Yeah.
I would leave her a good review,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see how those people are not that valuable. That role may not exist for that long. There's already direct-to-consumer, car sales.
Yeah.
A lot of companies do that. And some companies are going completely to that, like Buick.
Mm-hmm.
They're going completely to that. I don't know who's buying Buicks nowadays. Probably your grandparents.
Probably.
But yeah, it's a very people-focused business.
It brings out the best and the worst in everybody
Yeah.
because you're dealing with the biggest purchase that most people ever make. And the people that make these type of purchases every day, they've never used agents.
Right.
The majority of people that use agents, this is a big, big deal, second to maybe their wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, an investor or somebody that works at a hedge fund or a bank, like, yeah, you can maybe navigate it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. But when you got two parties where they're both at either their worst or their best, causes complications and that's where realtors shine.
And you're talking about the two parties of the seller and the buyer.
Seller and the buyer.
Sometimes it's the two partners that are buying the house that are working with us.
Yeah.
That we're trying to help make sense of what they really want.
And it is a big deal, and it's a lot of pressure for an agent to be like, I don't know why you can't just decide.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes agents like to say that we're also kind of like counselors, and I kind of hate that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to fix anything for you. You came to me wanting help with this very specific thing, and I'm just guiding you through a process.
And that's probably where agents get in a lot of hot water that is an obvious red flag for somebody to be uncomfortable maybe with their purchase. And if you're just constantly convincing them, you think you're counseling them to buy that house and then they buy it and they shouldn't have, it's on you.
It is, yeah. There's a certain point where you don't want to influence too much.
No.
You want to give information and present the choices that can be made.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of these three choices do you want to make?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. Let's do that.
And you want to be committed to your route of getting leads and helping people so that you're not married to these clients.
Yeah.
You're like, listen, if this doesn't work out, I've got 10, 12 other deals. What's most important for me is what's most important for you.
Yeah. I remember the first client I fired. It's so satisfying.
Yeah.
And it's just like, sorry, I can't work with you anymore.
Yeah.
And I didn't let any more of the conversation happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not working out. Have a good day.
And that's okay.
And it was like we had been under contract on multiple deals.
Mm-hmm.
Kept wanting to back out for very picky reasons. And also, but they were also choosing properties that have a lot of problems. We talk about on the front end, like, hey, this and this and this. Yeah, that's why the price is low. That's why we got it even lower. And then after the inspection, wanting to just beat them down, like they're not going down anymore.
And oftentimes, at least for me, like as a new agent, I would be like, how do I say this to them in a way that doesn't make them mad at me? Because then they're going to cancel and go find a new agent. I'm going to be screwed. So you just go through this cycle of not wanting to upset them. So being unrealistic.
Going back to the truck I bought recently, I was talking to her about a truck 6 months prior.
Yeah.
And I just said, sorry, I'm not ready yet. We had this house that flooded, and we're about to have another kid, and I'll come back to you in a bit. She said, okay, no problem. Let me refund this hold you had on it.
Very nice.
No question at all.
Yeah.
And then I text her back like 4 months later. I'm like, hey, what kind of inventory do you have coming in the next 30 days? We start chatting about it. Like, okay, that one. She didn't make me put down a deposit to hold it. She's like, all right, I got it reserved for you. Then it was about to come in. It was kind of delayed, and there was another one that was coming in the next week that I saw. And I'm like, hey, what about this one? She's like, do you want to change to that one? I'm like, yeah. So we changed to that one.
Yeah.
But she just let me choose.
That's crazy. That's great.
No pressure at all. No, she wasn't hard on me about it.
Yeah.
And then you went with me when I picked it up. We took two of my
Nice.
kids, and it was kind of crazy, and it took way too long. It was fine.
Yeah.
The way that she let me make the decisions, gave me the information, let me make the decisions, I learned a lot from her.
It goes a lot better. With agents, they buy in too much into sales and sales talk. If you want to be a sales rep, like go work strictly in sales, get your leads handed to you, and just work at having these conversations to convert them. If you want to be a great agent, forget sales. Focus on building your brand, building systems to attract leads, and then have enough leads to where you don't have to be a sales guy. You can just be somebody that offers great value, and that's enough.
Yeah.
That's all you got to worry about.
What is sales? How would you define that?
I say sales is like those scripts on how to handle objections and how to conversion rates, all that. I'd say that's sales. You're selling them something. It's very transactional, very almost shallow and kind of gross feeling for me, at least, because your goal is to sell them something, not necessarily to sell them something that they should buy.
Yeah.
Whether they should buy it or not, that's outside of the point. You talk to anybody who's in sales, they like brag about how they convince people to buy stuff that they shouldn't have.
Right.
Like, yeah, well, you got nothing else to do. Your leads are handed to you, and then you're having these conversations, and your job is to just close them. Very different from us. Right. Our job is to build solid lead sources, have a good lead flow and a good system to where that's flawless.
Yeah.
And be people that offer value and forget sales. Like, you don't want to buy? That's fine.
Yeah.
No big deal. Not going to pressure you at all. I'm not going to come back to you with all these objection handlers on that. And I think that's big. I think that's totally different from asking good questions and helping them in the process.
The biggest difference between really what we do and kind of a conventional sales, I think, is assuming that we don't have the answer.
Yeah.
No, we need more information before we can even get you going. I like to tell people often, somebody asked me the other day how many deals we do in a very specific area. I'm like, well, we have 2 under contract there now out of our dozen. And I'm like, but our goal isn't to be the best agent there. Our goal is to help you look at the whole area and narrow it down to exactly what fits you. So that's where our lead source and our process is a little bit different. They're not reaching out about a specific house very often. They're reaching out because of us.
Yeah.
And they want to work with us. But this is like a very strong inbound lead source. Now, it's typically brand that brings leads inbound, right?
Yeah.
Now, maybe you're running ads to promote your brand, you're doing mail, you're doing all kinds of things to like promote brand presence, or you're creating content on a search platform like YouTube or Google, or on some kind of social media platform. But that's a really solid inbound source.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, can you help me?
Yeah.
Just like you're walking into a store saying, I want to buy some shoes. Help me pick the shoes.
Yeah. It's a totally different type of brand.
Yeah.
You can't.
It is. But then other types of lead sources, like so one would be outbound.
Yeah.
That's cold calling. That's expireds.
Mm-hmm.
That's direct mail. And then the other main one would be like an ad source, like an ad driven. Now they're inbound, but they're colder.
Yeah.
You just got to pick which one you want to do. They all work.
Every single one of them works.
Yeah.
If you're a new agent, find the thing that you want to do. Spend a week, like we said, researching it, and then just do it. Find someone else down the road who's done it.
And then learn more as you do it.
Yeah. Do that, but try.
The biggest difference between these is kind of the scales of time and money.
Mm-hmm.
Inbound sources take more time, therefore sometimes more money to build.
Mm-hmm.
That brand presence takes time, not just your work time right now, but it takes years sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm in year 3 of the YouTube channel, and it's finally at a place where I can slow down on my videos. Like, I don't have to make the same kind of clicky top of the funnel videos that I used to, but it took a lot of time to get to that leverage point.
Yeah.
Other sources, ads, are going to take a lot of money. Outbound is going to take money and time.
Yeah.
I mean, ads take time too. They all take time. There's definitely like a seasoning period, but if you need leads right now, you're usually spending money to get leads right now.
You are. Yeah.
And then the goal would be to build something in that time as well that starts to bring in leads more organically.
Both are great.
Yeah.
If you're a new agent, though, you want to default to spending money to get leads.
Yeah.
And there are like key moments. Like, I don't know what I'd compare it to. I'd almost compare it to like maybe like sports. But there's a key moment where you know the pressure's on you and you just have to go for it. You can't freeze up. You can't quit. You can't walk away. You're like, this is it. Got to jump in. Got to do it. Got to be confident. And there's moments like that with dating. You know, got to ask the question. Mm-hmm. And then there's moments like that in real estate. Tons of moments. And nobody wants to jump on them because they're the scariest moments. Like if you're at an open house, someone says they don't have a realtor, you freeze up and you don't jump on that. And so there's no point in just doing it nonchalantly. So, and all that goes back to being all in and not letting your feelings dominate you. But if you're a new agent, you have to jump on these moments and identify them with yourself and then just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.